Elvis Presley had fans all over the world thanks to his incredible catalog of music that's still celebrated today. And just like so many rock stars before and since Elvis, a good number of those fans were women. One of those women was Hollywood starlet Anita Woods. A lot of their relationship took place behind closed doors despite their very public lives as celebrities. But a recently leaked phone call that Anita recorded with Elvis shines a light on one of the most scandalous parts of their romance. Elvis, of course, would go on to marry Priscilla Presley. Many years later, Priscilla would be the one hearing all the rumors about Elvis having secret affairs with his co-stars on the sets of his films. But in 1962, Anita was confronting Elvis about another woman. Specifically, she had questions about Priscilla. Elvis started his relationship with Anita in 1957. The pair remained an item while Elvis was serving in the military for 2 years in Germany. But Elvis was doing more than just serving his country overseas. Elvis met Priscilla Bewley only a few weeks before he was scheduled to return to the US in 1960. Priscilla was only 14 at the time. Over the next 2 years, Elvis continued dating Anita, but was secretly having a romance with Priscilla behind her back. This phone call between Elvis and Anita while he was still deployed really shows how the cracks were forming in their relationship. The phone call starts with Elvis saying he doesn't think anything about not calling Anita, implying there's no funny business going on. Ask any woman who's dealing with a guy who just happened to forget to reply to her text for 3 days. That excuse doesn't work now, and it didn't work then. Anita says the reason Elvis doesn't think anything about not calling is because Elvis hardly thinks about her at all. She really got his number. Anita goes on to say that the reason Elvis doesn't think about her is because he doesn't miss her, something he would do if he still really cared about her and their relationship. Elvis tries to deny it, even letting out a curse word you don't hear often from the king. I'll give you a hint. What he said rhymes with, "oh spit." But Anita insists that that's the way it seems to her. Like any man cornered in a web of lies by the women he's involved with, Elvis proceeds to lie. He says that that's not the way it is at all, but Anita seems less than convinced. She demands to know how it really is, since Elvis is such an expert on the subject. Elvis uses yet another tactic guys use when they're cheating by saying Anita knows how he feels about her, trying to trick her into thinking about the good old days. But Anita puts her foot down, saying she doesn't know how he feels. Although by the angry tone in her voice, you can tell she has her suspicions. She says she thought she knew how he felt, but obviously doesn't anymore. Then there's a long pause while Elvis is trying to figure out what to say next that won't get him into even more trouble. He stalls for time, then calls her a little rascal. I guess he thought being playful would get him out of this jam. Anita isn't buying it. Elvis once again says she knows how he feels, but Anita won't be gaslit into not seeing the truth that's right in front of her eyes. She says she doesn't know how he feels. Elvis tries another trick by saying she's just a baby, attempting to make her feel like she's not mature enough to have fully developed thoughts. Anita, however, tells the king that she's not a baby right now. Elvis doubles down, saying she is a baby, but Anita is all grown up and once again tells him she's absolutely not a baby and won't be treated like one. Anita pushes Elvis to explain the situation to her, so hopefully she can understand this very confusing set of circumstances and why he seems to be so aggressively pulling away from her. But Elvis tries convincing her that there's nothing to explain. Elvis goes on to say that he just wasn't thinking about her and there's nothing really to think about. Anita pushes further, questioning why Elvis would ever think that she wouldn't enjoy hearing from him on the phone and catching up with him. Elvis tries to say that time passes and even mentions some pictures he mailed her. This is the first bit of good news on the call and Anita seems happy, although Elvis says he's not sure when she'll get the pictures, maybe in a few days. So it's unclear if he actually sent anything or if he was, once again, just saying anything to calm her down. Elvis tries telling Anita that he really does think about her all the time. He just doesn't always think to call. But he is thinking about her and can't wait to see her when he finally returns home. But Anita, like any suspicious woman, still has more questions. She asks if he just doesn't want to call, unhappy with his explanation thus far. Elvis says that it's not that, prompting Anita to ask him, what is it then? She's a smart woman and isn't letting him talk circles around her when she knows something is up. Elvis raises his voice, which is often a good sign that the person you're talking to is correct in their suspicions, because there's no reason to get upset if nothing is actually going on. Elvis tries telling her once again there's nothing going on, nothing at all, and there's no reason why he doesn't call her more. That only set Anita off more. She tells him that he used to call, at least twice a week, so obviously something must have happened since then. Anita is really doing her best to explain what a difference those calls make, but Elvis just tries placating her, saying that she shouldn't be so worked up. That's easy for him to say. He already met a new woman. Anita says she's just like any other girl and can't help getting worked up. Elvis tries buttering her up, saying she's not like other girls because she's even sweeter. Anita doesn't fall for it. She says she's not sweet right now, and that irritated voice she's given him would back that claim up. Anita goes on to say that she doesn't really believe Elvis thinks she's sweeter than other girls anymore. She really had a strong hunch about what was happening. At this point, Anita flat out asks Elvis if he has another girlfriend out there. She's done playing games. Elvis repeats the question, which is yet another way men buy time when they're trapped. Anita even says that she knows Elvis has several girlfriends out there, but she wants to know if he has a special one. She wasn't worried about him seeing other women, she was worried about being replaced. Elvis tries to say he doesn't go out with a single other girl, but Anita refuses to accept that. Anita says there's one thing that she just can't stand, and that's being told stories about something. A nicer way to call someone a liar. Elvis goes right back at her, saying she lies just as often to him, if not more. Anita isn't accepting that, and she was right to be suspicious. When Elvis returned home, Anita found a letter from Priscilla that begged Elvis to convince her dad to let her visit. When confronted with the letter, Elvis said it was just a friendship, then asked Anita not to tell anyone about it since Priscilla was underage and it could ruin his reputation and career. This went on for 2 years, until finally in 1962, a distraught Anita came to the realization that Elvis's relationship with Priscilla was real, and she was in fact replacing Anita as Elvis's woman. Anita overheard a conversation between Elvis and his father, where Elvis said he was having the hardest time deciding between 2 women. She marched into the room and demanded to know the truth. That night apparently ended with the 2 of them in tears, and you could tell those tears had been building up since that recorded phone call. Anita sat down at the table with Elvis and his father and said that she was going to make that difficult decision for him. She told Elvis that she heard what he said and she was leaving. Elvis and his father tried to convince her that this wasn't the end, but she had made up her mind. Anita called her brother Andy to pick her up, and that was that. She remembers that Elvis ultimately said that if she must leave, then they'd meet up again, since it's not uncommon for people to split up and reunite later on down the line. But Anita knew this was the last goodbye. She started crying. Elvis was crying too. Elvis told her that he prayed he was doing the right thing by letting her go. Anita told him that he couldn't keep her from going. Her mind was made up. She was hurt and upset, but she wasn't going back on her decision. Anita's brother picked her up and she never looked back. Anita and Elvis had a passionate relationship, but it couldn't survive his affair. And ultimately, both of them had to do what was right for them. And that phone call says a world about the tension between them that led up to the decision to call things quits. So what do you guys think? Did Elvis do a good job on the phone call of hiding his affair? Was Anita right to call Elvis out over the phone? What's your favorite Elvis movie? Let me know in the comments below.